I saw John Fury confronting Carl Frampton at the Fury Wyatt press conference about the fact that Carl Frampton picked Jake Paul to beat Tommy Fury when that fight was scheduled to go ahead. And John Fury was disrespectful to Carl Frampton. He was poking his finger in his chest. Well, not literally in his chest, but towards him. And he was telling him that he needs to get off the job and he used to respect him and he turned his back on Carl Frampton. He was just being disrespectful towards Frampton. And Frampton said, look, that's just my opinion. What, you don't want me to give my opinion? You don't want me to be honest? Etc., etc. Now, of course, this is bad form from John Fury, very bad form, because it's just Carl Frampton's opinion. It isn't a measure of whether he likes Tommy Fury or dislikes Tommy Fury. It's just his opinion on who he thinks is going to win. And this attitude from certain fighters is actually common. I say certain fighters, there's a lot of fighters that are like this, where if you pick against them in a fight, they take it personally. And even their fans often take it personally. And it could be a fight between two fighters who you don't really feel one way or the other about. You don't like or dislike either of them. You know them, but you're not particularly bothered who wins. You end up picking one of them, and then all of their fans are, jumping on you saying, oh, you're a hater, this, that, and you wait and see when he wins. And then you're like, hang on, I ain't got a horse in this race. I don't care who wins. I just think this guy's going to win based upon what I've seen of him. It's not a personal thing, but they don't see it that way. They think it is personal. And the fighter themselves often thinks it's personal. And John Fury is an extension of that when it comes to the Fury team. He takes it personal when people pick against one of his boys. I saw an interview with Tommy Fury where he was saying something similar. He was saying that Carl Frampton doesn't know anything about boxing, which is an extraordinary thing to say. And he said that Carl Frampton should know better than picking, and John Fury said similar, Carl Frampton should know better than to be picking a YouTuber over a boxer. And that it's bad form to be picking against your countrymen. What's being a countryman got anything to do with it? Got to do with it? It's who he thinks is going to win, objectively speaking. My best friend could jump in there against Alexander Usyk. I'd be supporting my best friend. I'd want him to win, but would I pick him before the fight? Hell no. Why do I want to lose my money? I ain't going to pick him. He's not going to win. It's not a measure of whether I like my friend or not. It's just a measure of, what I genuinely think is going to happen in the fight, objectively speaking. But Tommy Fury was talking about, you should never pick against your countrymen. And this is the thing, right? This shows the hypocrisy of the Furies and many other people who exhibit the same behavior. The Furies have picked against Anthony Joshua countless times. So where was all the patriotism then? Where was all the, it's bad form to pick against your countrymen? Where was all that then? When they picked against Anthony Joshua countless times. There are some sensible heads in the Fury clan. One of them being Peter Fury. He's always been sensible. He was always kind of a calming influence, a grounding influence in Team Fury. But since he's, split up with Tyson or whatever, John has taken a more prominent role in Team Fury. Shane is more grounded than John, right? But he's still very pro-Fury, and sometimes he says stuff, as you would expect, as he should be, being family, but sometimes he says stuff which is biased to the point that it's not realistic. Let's just put it that way. So you got him, but there are still some calmer heads. There are still some sensible heads in Team Fury. One of them being Andy Lee, Tyson Fury's cousin. He's a sensible guy. And also the most sensible, I think, from what I've seen, is Javon Sugar Hill, otherwise known as Sugar Hill Stewart these days. He's a sensible guy. So when all the others are saying Tyson Fury's going to knock this guy out in one round and it's a mismatch and this guy's rubbish and he's got no chance, Javon Sugar Hill's like, actually, this guy's dangerous. Kind of the same thing that Peter Fury used to do. This guy's actually dangerous. Javon Sugar Hill's a very calm, laid-back kind of character, but that is what Tyson Fury needs, I think, to balance against the hotheads in his camp, like his dad, etc. Because they're hotheads, right? And Tyson Fury himself is somewhat of a hothead. So that's my take on John Fury confronting Carl Frampton. It's a common thing in boxing for fighters and their families to feel this way. If you pick against their son, oh my gosh, this, that. And I'll finish with this. The irony is Tyson Fury himself was asked about this fight between his brother Tommy and Jake Paul before it got made. And I remember very clearly, I did a video where I talked about it. Tyson Fury said, this is a 50-50 fight, to be honest, because they've both got a similar level of experience. Neither of them have had a lot of fights. It's a 50-50. That's what Tyson Fury said out of his own mouth. And now his dad is saying that anyone who thinks Jake Paul had a chance against his son is a Fury hater. Come on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.